predictions for what will happen between now and when you edit?
Yearbook camp.
Ooh.
So, anything.
You know what they say? What happens at yearbook camp
Gets documented forever in a hardbound publication.
with a photo collage.
It's layout? How dare you?
You don't do collages?
I would not call what we do collages. No. Decoupage. No, not even that. Not even that.
Are you just all about like clean lines and Swedish layouts? Like collages
grids.
are no longer
Swiss grids.
Yeah. Are you on Flexbox?
I don't know what that is. No.
Oh, it's just like CSS grid styling.
Okay.
Flexbox.
I do like a clean layout. Yeah.
So no collages.
No.
See, that was my least favorite, but still very endearing part of like elementary yearbooks.
Yeah, sure.
But it doesn't look as professional.
No, and we're in a digital age where if your stuff's not looking slick, you're not doing a very good job.
I think we're going to turn that on its head soon, and people will like that dirty analog look and feel again.
We'll have a return to the down and dirty.
We will depart the 80s glam metal era and go straight into Nirvana.
I would love it if we embraced sort of a homemade zine kind of a feel. That would be very exciting to me. But every time I show the children on my staff that kind of look, they go, huh. I'm making a face right now, but they go, huh. So they're not into it. So we keep it nice and clean, which is fine, which is good.
So why don't we do this? There is a line from this minute that chronologically starts the minute, but I would like for us to not say it until the end.
Fair enough.
That way we go out on the highest note. And I think you should say it as both the owner, operator of the podcast and leader of the pack.
I don't consider myself any of those, but...
Well, I'm not going to yearbook camp.
Which is why you deserve a higher stake in the Home Alone Minute empire. My attention is torn elsewhere.
And my education is poor.
Just listen to how you pronounce the word poor.
I'm not pursuing any sort of continuing education. I'm not enriching the lives of the youth. I'm not contributing in any meaningful way to society.
Our salaries would suggest otherwise.
But that's because this is a cold, cruel world that's, as the Fresh Prince would say, turned upside down.
Speaking of, I'd like to take a minute.
I'll sit right here.
Of Home Alone and talk about it with my friend.
Okay, pick a minute. What's your favorite that you're vibing on this week?
Let me just think
I won't hold
about
you to this. I won't hold you to this. This isn't like all time, just like what you're vibing on this week.
Which minute do I feel like talking about?
Yeah, like in your bones.
26.
I'm glad I'll have the audio for that because I want to put that sample in something. Just you going 26. I just wanted to sample that, like you going 26, because it just sounds like a cool tag. It's your version of barbecue sauce. So I'm glad I'll have that forever.
Yeah, feel free to use it.
You know who else used some audio effects? Whoever did the editing on the word mom.
Yeah, you think so?
Do you not hear what we should probably stop saying in audio, which is wet?
You've got an ear for these things that I don't. Describe to me what you're talking about when Kevin yells out mom. And we're at the point in the movie where he's gotten to a stopping point at Angels with Filthy Souls. The violence has overwhelmed him, and he pauses it and calls out for his mom.
Yes.
What are you hearing there with that mom?
I'm hearing reverberation, potentially some delay. It feels spacious.
Not many people knew that Dick Dale recorded that scene.
It just plugged Kevin straight into his amp and just spring reverb all over it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't love that nomenclature, but it is somewhat universal in the audio community of like wet versus dry.
Oh, okay.
A dry track, a dry vocal, dry recording is dry where without effect. Whereas if you put a bunch
clean.
of reverb, yeah, typically. Okay. Whereas if you have a bunch of reverb, a bunch of delay, it's wet.
And when you hear Kevin call out for mom, you're hearing a lot of that. It is, you're right. It's echoey. it seems like they're trying to transition into the plane.
Yeah.
That move, which I love. I love that cut from Kevin calling out for his mother and his mother in the plane, waking up, realizing something's missing, something's wrong.
It feels like the Force.
Yes. So that's the minute that we're in. Kevin calls out for his mom. Mom wakes up in a panic, and she and Peter, the father, have a little talk about what could be missing, and the minute ends before that conversation comes to its conclusion.
That's a great summary of this minute.
Jerod, thank you. But
I'm having a little bit of inner turmoil because I don't know whether I should say this or if I'm too in the weeds. But is she in a panic?
Oh no, she's not. You're right. She's worried. She's sure that she forgot something.
She's unsettled.
Let's go with unsettled.
Because I believe the word she uses is that she has a terrible feeling, which might be hyperbolic depending on how she actually feels, but she doesn't seem to be anything beyond just not at ease.
She's feeling some unease in this moment, for sure.
How do you like their dynamic in this minute, both in isolation and as it compares to how we've seen them interact up until?
He's pretty good. Peter's being a good ally in this situation, I think, trying to put her at ease and trying to help her figure out why she's feeling so bad, why she might think that they forgot something. There are some small moments, especially on Peter's side, that I don't care for very much. But what about you?
I'd say I'm about the same in terms of overall feeling. I think he does a pretty good job of not being too dismissive or gaslighty. He's not saying you're crazy. He's saying, oh, well, it's easy to feel that way because we were in such a hurry.
Yes.
And we as the audience, well, I won't speak for you. I don't know if you're in the audience. I'm in the audience. I know that they have forgotten something, and it's an 8-year-old boy. But if we're talking about what is the most likely situation, what he's saying is actually very, very reasonable.
Yes.
The reason we feel a little gaslit as an audience is because he's trying to calm us down about something we know is wrong.
The dramatic irony is fun there. What bugs me a little bit is his smug little reaction to, did I turn off the coffee? And he says, no, I did. You didn't do it. I did. 1, she's feeling some considerable unease, and this is not making things better. 2, do you need the credit for the coffee?
And D.
Does that make sense though? Like,
It does.
He could have said the same words a different way and it would have been more helpful. You can compassionately tell someone, no, I did that.
I'll give an alternate take.
Please do. I don't like mine. I'm not an actor.
Oh, not even on the acting. I mean, just taking it still with the same, I think, intent. I could take it as an attempt to diffuse with something a bit funnier.
Sure. That's what he's going for.
Because some kind of surprise, because it's like, no, you did not, which kind of elevates, but I did, which then brings it back down. So it's like this diffusion, and also it's kind of poking fun and makes the tension a little bit less serious.
Yes, it's poking fun at someone who is in distress, which I don't think is helpful. Nothing Kate is saying or doing here suggests that she is looking to be cheered up with a joke.
So it sounds like Peter and Kate have different trauma responses. Because I would respond differently, I think, than she would.
Well, it's a useful contrast because it develops this theme of a mother's commitment to her children that the rest of the movie will explore the B plot of Kate trying to return home. So in that sense, it is helpful characterization. She's got this innate superpower of recognizing that her son isn't on the plane that Peter just doesn't have because of his penis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're supposed to be way more sympathetic to her in this scene. And Like I say, because we're given way more context than he has, we're saying, no, you idiot. She's right. We just saw him.
Yes.
He's 8 years old.
He's at home.
He's
Turn
eating
around.
junk and watching rubbish.
No one's there to come out and stop him.
So yeah, we're primed just moments before to feel some hostility toward him and be like, don't you get it?
Are you ready to talk about the book that Peter McAllister is reading?
Oh, is he reading in this minute?
Yes.
Is he convincingly reading?
Are you not convinced by his movie reading?
That sounded like a leading question. It wasn't.
One thing that I do appreciate about his reading is that he's not too far into this book. This is how far into the book he would be if he opened it up for the first time on this plane. He bought this book for this plane ride.
Yeah.
Maybe even not at the airport. They hop right on the plane, but this is his plane book.
I love the idea that they were just kind of late and then he had to stop by Hudson Newsstand.
Wait, I don't have anything to read. Everybody stop. No, we'll meet you at the gate. What gate is it? I'm not telling you. Let me do a lap around the Hudson.
Those van drivers made good time. We'll be fine. We made up a lot on the way here.
So he's reading Nobody's Angel, which is interesting that back-to-back scenes, we've got two pieces of media with angel in the title.
Is it because they are the exact opposite kind of angel imagery that we would expect from the cherub-like imagery of an 8-year-old?
Valid interpretation. With some digging, and maybe you are aware of the same digging, I think they chose Nobody's Angel by Thomas McGuane for a very specific reason. Do you know why?
Well, because he's a Mick as well.
Again, Jerod, a valid interpretation. The Irish stick together.
He's like McAllister, McGuane.
Easy
It's
enough.
McGuane, right? Not McGuane or something?
I don't know. I didn't YouTube any interviews with him just to see how he pronounces his name.
Anyway, people with Irish names who somehow identify with their Irish heritage, even though they're probably multi-generation American. Continue.
Jerod, you simple fellow. So simple. There's such a juicy nugget of trivia here. So I think you know it. And you're letting me say it, which is fine. Thank you. You're generous. But Thomas McGuane, author of Nobody's Angel, was briefly married to one Margot Kidder, who
plays Buzz.
That would be an interesting and then their marriage didn't last long, and then she went and married a guy named John Hurd, who is sitting in this plane reading this book, playing Peter McAllister.
Is John Hurd reading the book, or is Peter McAllister reading the book?
Peter's reading it.
Will you grant me that Peter is reading a book and John Hurd is reading this book?
John Hurd is reading the book of his... I think even they were divorced by this point.
Oh, I don't actually know that bit.
I think so. I think it might have been close, but both marriages were pretty brief. And so I believe, let's see here.
Yeah, let's validate the timeline because I didn't even think about that.
I think because that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit, right?
It does. Yeah. Because I was just thinking like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Long divorced. She was married. Margot Kidder married Thomas McGuane in 1976. Divorced him in 1977. 1979, she marries John Hurd, and then they divorce in 1980. So both marriages last about a year and are long over by now.
So he's reading this as a you and me both, pal.
Yeah. There's some solidarity found in the co-ex-husband domain, maybe.
Yeah, something that would motivate him to pay full price for the book. And not just regular price, but Hudson Newsstand airport pricing.
I do wonder, whose idea this was. Is this John Hurd bringing the book to the set and saying, hey, I got this cute idea? Is this a savvy props department person going, Peter needs a book in this scene? Oh, I know what we can do.
That's shoe-in for Unsung Hero, if so.
I think it's John Hurd. It seems like it would be John Hurd's idea.
Well, I'll say that I wouldn't have the gall as a props person to propose the idea. Because that could go a few ways.
It could be your last day on the set.
Yeah.
Not that John Hurd's like the big star of this movie.
No, but who's going? Me or him?
That's true. I don't know. Maybe you're that good of a props guy. I mean,
you're like, wait, you're telling me to get rid of red and green house guy?
He's a genius. I won't stand for it. I'm not doing the movie without him.
Sorry, we're bringing in a new dad, Reginald VelJohnson.
I'd watch that.
Oh man, that'd be so good.
Just don't explain it.
He would do such a good job with the "you didn't, I did," and then he would do that big grin.
Yeah, there's room for Reginald VelJohnson somewhere in this movie.
If they de-aged the dangly ones,
he's a Chicago police officer. He could have played Carl Winslow in this movie.
So he's the one saying to count their kids again?
Either that or what would probably be the more righteous cameo is Yearbook Camp's tomorrow, by the way. I don't know if you heard that notification.
I didn't hear it, but I felt it.
Okay. The more righteous cameo would be him dragging the wet bandits out of the house at the end.
So good.
That'd be fun.
I think we have enough AI tools at this point to do that fan edit, right?
Somebody please do it and email it to thehomealoneminute@gmail.com.
Oh, can you speak up there? What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jared.
Was that our email address?
Yes, our email address, which is thehomealoneminute@gmail.com.
Okay.
I know. Family Matters, by the way, premiered September 1989. So
right when they were shooting this.
Maybe too late for them to recognize
the genius,
what could have been the possibilities
in another life.
Also, maybe they didn't want to they already put their one black person in the movie. So
she did such a good job.
She did a great job.
Do you want to do that minute again next week?
Yes, please.
I know my position this minute has been defend Peter a bit, but I'll defend John a bit and say his thinking.
Yes, yes, I agree. Go ahead.
It's good. It's very real.
Did you lock up? And he has that sort of stuttering, yeah, which isn't very convincing.
But the act is convincing.
Yes.
I see a man who is in his mind visualizing a door, a something, it's more than what's on the page. I think we haven't checked on the screenplay. And when I say we, I mean I.
This is pretty faithful to how this scene plays out. There is a small difference in that he doesn't land on the garage doors being the thing that they have forgotten. It's the answering machine.
I was about to say, are you ready for the reveal? What was it that they forgot?
So sorry. I'll edit this all around so it
Wait. No. Why don't you... Oh, here's an edit for you. Ready? You come in with the screenplay, some nice little tidbit about it, and you go, but what is it, in fact, that they forgot? Because it's different in both the screenplay and the film.
Okay. Like I'm quizzing you?
You're quizzing all of us.
Okay.
You're quizzing all over the place.
Ew.
Again, wet, dry vocal.
Yes, Jared, the script is relatively faithful, but there is a difference in what Peter lands on in terms of thinking they forgot to do. In the script, it's their answering machine. He says, no, that's it. I forgot to put on the machine. When, in fact, it is what?
The garage.
I forgot to close the garage, which was confirmed just a few minutes ago when Kevin ran out and saw that their cars were still there. They didn't go to the airport.
I have been saying the word garage like that since 1990.
Garage?
No, the way that he says it. There's this little, it's not a click. It's softer than that. But he says garage. That's it.
Fancy garage. Ooh. It's a car hold.
I think of it the same way that I think about wallets. Like you have this expensive thing and then you pay money to put that thing in a thing.
It's made of leather.
They're like, oh, I paid a lot of money for this car and then I built it a house.
That's kind of what people do.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Did you or anyone else ever call it a billfold?
My dad was big on billfold.
Where's he from?
The mountains of Tennessee.
Okay. Interesting.
But even though a wallet would do a better job than like a money clip, it still isn't feasible to carry anything other than paper money.
There's no change purse portion.
Right. So usually when there is any, I don't even take it.
You don't keep the change, you filthy animal?